Good afternoon, everybody, and a very warm welcome to the Geology live talk this afternoon at our main event virtual open day at the University of Leicester. I'm really pleased to introduce to you Dr. Mark Rico, who will be taking you through and giving you a glimpse of what it's like to study geology at the University of Leicester and be a student here. He's also joined by Dr. Tom Harvey, who's also a lecturer in geology and also the admissions tutor for our undergraduate geology courses. And our student who's a third year in geology at the moment, a third year undergraduate student, Alex Talbot Wilson. So they make up the panel that will be here to answer questions that you might have. You're very welcome as the talk is going on to publish questions on the Q&A section of the talk, so feel free as you think of them to post them there, and Dr. Tom Harvey will be sort of having a look and having a review, and at the very end we'll pull everyone together and we can address those to the panel. If you'd like to specifically ask a question to Alex particularly about what it's like to be a student, then feel free to mention that in your comment and she'll be able to address that. Just to let you all know that the session will be recorded today. Also, after this event, if you're thinking what you're going to do next, there are some more live sessions starting at 1 o'clock. So I'll mention a little bit more at the end what sessions you might want to join. Okay, so that leaves nothing but just to hand you over to Mark and hope you enjoy the talk.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Tamara. A very, very warm welcome to the virtual live event and to Geology at Leicester. So I'm Mark, I'm a lecturer here at the university. My speciality is volcanology. I like volcanoes, anything that's large scale, large explosive volcanism, large scale emplacement of lavas, and the relation to that, like the mass extinctions, hazards with that, and as well, of course, the economic interest or deposits, and as well the hazards they pose. Climate change, we use this as analogs, what's going on at the moment, what we cause to our planet, we use to see what happened in the past, to better understand what damage we cause and how we can mitigate this. So why Leicester? Why the University of Leicester? Why should you come to us? And first of all, we are just recently ranked the top 20 best, between the top 25 best UK universities by the university rankings in 21. 94% of our students are with employability within the first 6 months after their graduation. We're also the third most affordable city, and that's especially important as a student. Leicester is a vibrant city, it's a multicultural city, and I've been here for 20 years. I absolutely love this place because, just an example, there's 120 languages spoken just on one street alone. It's also the 21st in the world for sustainability. We have an increased cycling network. The city invests and develops cycling routes, looks into like more sustainable ways of running the city and extending the city. We're also in the top 20 ranked students union, and I'm very proud of the student activities, the student contribution to the university, but also to society, to the city of Leicester and also its surroundings. So you have very active student unions with sports activities, live events, careers days, invited speakers and sports activities. So why study geology at Leicester? So why should you come do earth science degree with us? We pride ourselves on our commitment to teaching, learning and support you to realise your full potential. You may have heard about geology, and it's part of earth sciences, and I'm always amazed about the opportunities you have still after. I've been doing this now for 30 years. It's amazing, it never ceases to amaze me, the opportunities you have later on in your careers, the potential you unfold during your studies and how you apply those into your future careers. We support this, we nurture you. We undertake world-leading research and we like our students to get involved too. I bring into my classroom things I learned through my volcanology studies. You will get this first-hand experience, which you can't read in books. This is something cutting edge, straight from the lab, right into the classroom. as does Tom Harvey and my other colleagues as well, doing paleobiological studies, studies on the Anthropocene, environmental changes with Professor Sinker. Our links with industry will help to introduce you to the professional world of work. It's very important to network and get your foot into the next step after university. We have strong links, over 50 companies we're working with, which you have access to, can talk to through our careers days. Also former alumni which come and visit us, and when we see our students applying for jobs, we also highlight this and network through social media, through emails, or just a phone call, old-fashioned way now, phone calls. The industry link degrees will prepare you for future careers as well. So we use software which is also used in the industry, and we implement as well this into our teaching and learning experience. We have a series on Twitter going on for quite some time. I'm a Leicester geologist. Here's just a few examples. Omar, who just graduated this year. He was on a project placement with Ariane Resources in northeastern Turkey. He spent the summer in there collecting data, working with the company in northeastern Turkey on an ore deposit, wrote his project about this, and he graduated this summer. Now here's Zach. He's took the Earth Sciences and Education module. He had a place in the Earth Sciences and schools here in Leicester because communication of Earth Science is equally important as Earth Science itself, like the research. We have a duty to communicate and tell the wider public about Earth Science, its significance, so what we're doing and the benefit to society as well. And that is something which is embedded in our degree modules, and that's one example. And Zach was like standing here very happy presenting at the end his results. So we are about us. Jump the slide here. Here we go. Temperamental today. So okay, we are School of Geography, Geology and the Environment. So you can do like geography and geology degree with us. So as a school, we work together to learn and teach about the past, present and future of our planet. We have a dedicated student resource room, plus state-of-the-art lecture theatres and practical laboratories. And you have access to our extensive and award-winning collection of more than 250,000 rocks, minerals and fossils. And these are also available to you as virtual versions. So a large portion of this 3D scans, also the rock thin section collection is available to you. You have 24/7 access to study spaces, IC facilities, and also industry standard software, which I just mentioned in an earlier slide, Omar used as well for his project. So what about our degree program, our courses? So we have a stream of three major ones. One is just newly introduced. So we have geology, and geology with paleontology. We have applied and environmental geology, and all are available as either Bachelors of Science or BSc or Masters of Geology. All are accredited by the Geological Society. And the panel commented, the Geological Society panel commented on our courses are excellent. In addition, from next year, we also have the Bachelors of Science in Physical Geography and Geology, and all with options to do a foundation year and a year in industry. So what does these programs entail? A bit more about these, but first about the style of learning. So university teaching changed dramatically, certainly since I left university, and I think it's really exciting. It's really a way of learning that suits me because it offers a variety of different styles. So we offer a mix of traditional lectures alongside small group talks, tutorials we call them, or practical classes and workshops. And of course, there's also their field teaching. I particularly love the workshops because you are working problem-based. You find out a solution, you analyze a problem and work together. So I may give an introduction, set the task, then you work out, we work it out together, discuss it, and find a solution. And you find that very often you find more than one solution, and all are equally valid, and you have to decide which one is the best or the most preferred one. So it's student-centered and research-led. Again, first years, at the end of the first year, what I do with them, as a student mentioned, oh, there is a geothermal project going ahead in the area he's coming from. So I looked into this, and we worked out the geothermal potential of the area based on borehole data I found on the area. A lot of it is freely accessible. It gives as well the student an idea on how you work in a real environment, work environment. So in the first years, you can expect to see a lot of us, 20 hours of contact time per week. A lot is momentarily online, but I always have Teams open and very often pop up like questions from my students. Hey, Mark, do you have 5 minutes? You make time available for you. We are here for you. So now about our programs, the degree programs, a bit more detail. So the Geology program, this course provides with the knowledge and skills for understanding Earth's system and processes. So it's more like the holistic view of Earth sciences. So a very broad skill, but you can choose detailed modules or specialized modules here as well in the third year. You'll have the widest range of module choices that includes planetary science to volcanology, environmental geosciences to paleontology. So it's perfect if you want to develop a broad interest across the whole discipline. Then we have the geology with paleontology, which has like a more specialized in strand in paleontology or paleobiology. Dr. Tom Harvey is here as well if you have more questions about this. So this combines the knowledge and skill base of a degree in geology with expertise in the scientific study of fossils, the preservation of fossils, how well preserved, how life evolved with time, and how actually what it tells us for the future. Part of this is also the Anthropocene, a new science discipline spearheaded here in Leicester. Is our impact, the legacy, the set legacy we leave behind, the cycle of plastic as well in the environment. We have students working on this and our researchers working on this as well. So you focus on the paleontological themes from evolution, extinction to the use of fossils in revealing past climates and environments, and you also look at the current climate and the future climate as well. So environmental science. You can undertake an independent field-based project in a fossiliferous area. That's a very difficult word. That's why I studied volcanology. So you look at fossils and how they're preserved. It's like as well, the image you see here is like one of these experiments conducted and spearheading on a not so well preserved record of our time. Then our applied environmental geology group. So the program provides with the skills to locate and manage Earth's resources in a sustainable way. So from mineral exploration to novel green technology. So with green technology, we also need, or we have an increased demand of resources. With that, to actually make our planet greener, we have to have more resources. How can we extract those in a sustainable way? And actually, how can we do this as we go back on old mining areas and extract what previously was not possible to extract? How can we extract this now? Recycling as well is part of this. Landfills. What we do with our waste as well. We have a responsibility to look after this. So it equips you with the knowledge and skills to apply geology to environmental systems. And our new degree program is into physical geography and geology. So it's a Bachelor of Science degree, and that draws on disciplines to create a strong earth and environmental science program. So it provides the opportunity to investigate issues such as climate change, desertification and water quality. One of the main challenges we face is not just resources in terms of ore deposits, metals or energy, it's also water quality or water. Drinking water, have access to fresh water is one of the major challenges we face. As an example, London inhabits like 9 million people, yet is relying only on 5 major drill wells. So we have to provide fresh water which comes off the tap is actually quite a challenge, and it will become more challenging in the future as the population will increase. So it links the methodology, and which is part of geology, and the contemporary land surface processes, which is physical geography, together. So the module includes as well Earth system and climate change programs or courses. Our staff, you will be taught by international leading experts. Here's Professor Sarah Gappert, very happy holding a rock, but this is like containing a very precious fossil in here. So teaching is research-led but student-centered. So Sarah, with my colleagues in paleontology, including Tom, Jan Salevich, Mark Williams, and they look into the past and present climate. They look as well into our legacy, the recycle of plastic in water. Then we have Professor Mike Brenny, like with myself here on Tenerife, so a world-leading volcanologist. Most volcanologists in the country here went through Leicester and been taught by Mike in the physical volcanology. So we pride ourselves with our knowledge and teaching here in volcanology, and it's certainly something that's very close to my heart. Professor Gavin Jenkins is leading in the new technologies in like extracting ore from deposits in a sustainable way, holding a very precious gold sample here and in his hand. We also, our staff, not only teach and do research, we also author popular science books on the Anthropocene. Just here a few examples. The Anthropocene just came out very recently, which is co-authored by Professor Mark Williams and Jan Salevich. The Skeletons, the Frame of Life, or Goldilocks Planet. So we also have responsibility to communicate the science, our knowledge, to the wider public. We all are fellow of the Higher Education Academy or a senior fellow of the Higher Education Academy. So we all have teaching qualifications. We're friendly and approachable. We make time for you. And this is one, I love the time with the students, making time, discussing things and helping my students. I'm absolutely passionate about, and I really love this. So supporting you, so what do we do? So if you go through Leicester, we have a personal tutor in your school. So at the moment, I have 7 students assigned to me, which I help throughout their time, throughout their career at Leicester. So we have weekly meetings at the moment. Through like we have set tasks, but I also help them set problems, discuss them. This week we just had, they had to task to provide a presentation, give a talk. It was all online. They've done really, really well. For some, it was the first time they've given a presentation. I was really impressed by the quality and standard of our students. We also have a careers and development service, so where you have a one-on-one advice helping you to write CVs, application coaching, so how you present yourself in an interview, what do you do? So we have mock interviews as well in preparation for interviews. We also have annual in-house careers days and visiting speakers from industry and academia. So our student society, our Geological Student Society is very active, invites speakers, but we also former alumni, or not former alumni, former students which are alumni are invited to present and network with you, help you. I've just been very busy this summer. Actually, I have today as well write a reference for one of our students needs this for Monday, just contacted me yesterday. Can you please write a CV or a letter of reference, which we happily do. We also have the Leicester Award, which is award-winning recognition of the skills you acquire throughout the time here. So the transferable skills, which are valuable for any job you do, earth science or anything else. These transferable skills, independent learning, group work, how problem solving is also recognized, and we won 2 national awards this year. Employability. Of course, at the end of the degree, you want a job, you want a career, you want to progress through that. The geoscience graduates are valued in many professions because of independent working and problem solving skills. It is relevant for any job you do. Critical data analysis are important for a wide variety of careers, and training in independent working. If you work in any environment, in any job, you have a plan, you have a set task, and often things are not necessarily going to plan. You have to think and rethink your plan and find a new strategy. You find problems with no one faced before, you have to find a solution. Don't panic. How do you address problems and how you solve that problem and at the time where you are? Here's just a few examples. One, my former student here, like Sarah, and here as in decommissioning in Scotland up here, and a student here as environmental consultant. Employability. So I mentioned earlier, I'm always amazed the opportunities you have as an earth scientist. Just to give you a few examples where our students go into, they become environmental consultant. Just yesterday, Sarah Hay won an award, a national award. Absolutely thrilled about this in environmental consultant. Renewable energy sector as well. The picture here on the right is actually a ship dragging along a wind turbine, and my former student, Rosie, sent that view from my office. She's working in the wind energy sector. So geotechnical engineer as well are required. If you build high-rising buildings, power stations, anything on the ground, you have to make sure that the ground underneath is stable, is not moving. Of course, there's as well the exploration geology. I mentioned this. We need new resources. We need more resources. Our demand is increasing, but we have to find new ways and more innovative ways than we've done in the past. We have to do this in a cleaner way as well, and make sure we make as little waste or produce as little waste as possible. One of our students was involved in the London drilling project here underground, and she's somewhere in that group of people there, and she, at the beginning of her degree, she never thought she would be responsible for a large group of people standing there and actually telling people what to do and being in charge of a massive project. Opportunities, what other opportunities do you have? You have year in industry options with partners like aggregate industries. We have national and international placements in a number of sectors, including exploration, environmental and geoconservation. For example, RSK, which is located in the south. A lot of our students working for the company as well, and including as well science. And Omar got through this as well. It did one of these placements in northeastern Turkey. We also have study abroad opportunities, which include New Zealand. And we encourage as well our students to get involved with our research and student committees. So what do our students have to say? And here's my former student, Luana. She just graduated a degree. She worked on a volcano in Mexico. She said, I chose Leicester because I felt understood and welcome. The best thing about Leicester, the support I received from staff. And truly can say it was especially in these challenging times at the moment with teams, it was really nice to have chats through Teams with her and help her on her project and discuss these, even though she was back home with her family and I was here in Leicester. We had frequent contact discussing. She's now working in a geotechnical company in Romania and absolutely loves the work she's doing. And the skills she learned throughout her degree says yes, they absolutely helped me now thriving and progressing in the career I want to do. Yes, Jack, Bachelor of Science job with paleontology. So why Leicester? The course content caught my interest, having the opportunity of being taught by leading experts, and I would like to pursue postgrad PhD research in paleontology. Applying to Leicester. So what do you need to do? So what process and what grades do you need? So you apply through UCAS system, and our entry grades are ABB to BBB for the Bachelors of Science. And if you do the fourth year, then Masters of Geology, you need AAB, and for the foundation year, a B, C, and C. These are typical requirements, but we consider every application individually, so please get in touch. As well, we look at the personal statement. What we want is students who are enthusiastic and want to thrive and are interested in earth science and want to make a change, want to leave their imprint, leave their legacy to the community, and basically enjoy what they do. So we look for the personal statements as well. So they will be read. We look into this. So we look for enthusiastic students who want to make a difference. Now we have an ethos like become a citizen of change, a little video clip as well online. Look at it. We are looking for students who have empathy and the ability to care for others, have the ability to treat people with respect, because we are all equal, thrive with responsibility and leadership, have the ability to manage uncertainty. It's like the problem-based learning as well, and we're facing at the moment as well times of uncertainty. Have resilience, and our students have resilience. You can achieve things you never thought you could. Believe in yourself. The ability to solve problems, because we always face problems wherever you are. So why Leicester? Just to sum up, we are highly committed and enthusiastic researchers and teachers. I love my job. I always said I'm blessed to do like the hobby I love, and I'm paid for this. Offer a large range of modules to choose from. We're flexible. You can change degree streams after the first year, and from the Bachelor's of Science to the Master's of Geology up to the third year. Our teaching is research-led, but student-centered. So you are in the center. Here's a few pictures here. Medua, which just graduated as well. Mike up there with the students sitting around the table just discussing the volcanology field trip they just got back from. So contact us, if you want to know more, geology@le.ac.uk. We're also here after this presentation for a chat. After this, you also have the opportunity to go live into the chat. We're still there till 1 o'clock and then 2 o'clock in the live chats. So please get in contact with us. Now, another thing, we are also proud of our history. So the university is built on a former hospital, founded in the First World War. So we celebrate this centenary. The Armistice Day in 1980, the first funds were donated for the University College. So exactly 100 years later, Sir David Attenborough, we have a very strong link with the Attenborough family, dedicated Centenary Square in the centre of campus. Our centenary celebration will culminate next year, 100 years after we admitted our first students. There's also scholarships available worth £7,500. So please have a look as well at our scholarship webpage. Happy to give you the link. So we have scholarship available to you, and there will be many activities and promotions coming up. Which brings me to the end of my presentation, and I'm happy, together with my colleagues, Alex and Tom, to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, Mark. That was a really inspiring talk. It seems like a really fascinating and very relevant subject area. So I hope that all our listeners and visitors enjoyed that. So thank you to those that have posted some questions. There's a few that's just come in at the end. So what I'll do is I will go through those questions. Once we've done the Q&A session, I'll just make reference to a couple of things coming up. In fact, in case you have to jump off or go to something else, I will just do that now. In addition to the Unibuddy chats that Mark was talking about, where you can go and have more of a discussion with Mark about the subject area. We've also got at 1 o'clock an Instagram live accommodation session that's really worthwhile going on. We've got a live sports session at 2 o'clock, and then there are a variety of other live presentations like this one. There's a parent session and personal statement session also starting at 1. So please do have a look around at what might be of interest to you, and enjoy the rest of your day. So just going to the questions now, and the first one I think we'll pose to Alex, because it specifically relates to you, Alex, about your experience as a student on the geology programme, and if you could just tell us a little bit about that and what you found to be really interesting and how you found your 3 years.
Hi, so I'm Alex and I'm in my 3rd year of my degree. I found that the degree is so varied. So the first year it really gives you a really good understanding of the basics of geology. And then throughout your years, you get more in-depth knowledge, you get to specialise on areas that you're particularly interested in. So I do like the breadth of the course offers. I've also found that the department is great. I find that, you know, whenever I have a question or I'm not sure about things, you know, there's open doors. I'm easily now on Teams with all my lecturers. I feel like I'm really supported, and that was one of the reasons why I chose to study here. On my open days that I came, I just felt like I felt really welcomed, and I felt like they wanted me to become a good geologist, and I wasn't just another student. So I've really enjoyed my time here. A bit sad that it's my last year, really. But I would definitely recommend this degree program and this university. I've had a really good time here, and I feel like I've now got the skills and knowledge that I need to pursue what I want to do after university.
Great, thank you very much, Alex. So I'm not sure who wants to take this next question, but if one of the panel could please explain what the difference is between the BSc and an MGeol.
Yes, hi everybody, I can take this question. So I'm the admissions tutor for geology at Leicester, and this question often comes up actually. So the BSc is typically 3 years long, or 4 years with a year in industry, and the MGeol is a year longer. And lots of our students graduate with a BSc, and that's great, and that can get you straight into industry in your chosen field. And you will have had a really broad training in geology, and that will set you up really well for your profession. On the other hand, lots of other students prefer to do the 4-year degree. And what's really interesting about the 4th year is you get to get stuck into a cutting-edge research project with one of our staff members involved in research. So we'll provide a list that you can look at, or you can propose your own project, develop it with us. And actually that's a major chunk of your 4th year. And that can get you out to the field, it can get you into the research laboratories, get you using different microscopes, that sort of thing. And you can write it up, and sometimes our students even write publications as a result of their MGeol project. So if you have an interest in doing research level geology, then that's a great way of seeing if you might like to do a PhD, for example, after your degree. Or it can lead you into different research routes in industry. So that 4th year is something quite special, but then, you know, not for everyone. So we can advise you through your degree, and you can change between the BSc and MGeol. So if you apply onto the BSc, so long as you're progressing fairly well, you can always sort of change onto the 4-year program later on. Okay, I think I'll hand back now for the next question.
Thank you, Tom. That's great to hear. There's a good deal of flexibility there. So my next question, can I change between degree streams? For example, geology versus geology with paleontology. Who would like to answer that question? Again, Tom.
Yes, I can cover it again there if you like. So actually the 1st year is common to all students. So the 1st year gives you a full grounding in all aspects of geology. So you'll do some paleontology, some applied and environmental topics, what we call the hard rock stuff, the igneous and metamorphics, and also the sedimentology. And then, you know, as you go through your 1st year, you can be thinking about where your interests lie. And there is a lot of flexibility, so that if you want to change into one of the more specialist degree streams at the end of that 1st year, for example, if you want to focus on paleontology, that's easy to do. Conversely, if you've come in with a particular interest in mind, but then actually you decide you'd like to keep your options wide open through your degree, then you can go on to the geology program, which gives you maximal flexibility through your modules. So, you know, that's why we give everyone training in your 1st year, because not everyone necessarily knows their specific interests when they arrive. It's something that develops through your degree. Okay, I think I'll hand back now.
Great, thanks, Tom. So another question, how strict, I suspect this is a Tom question again, how strict are the entry requirements, just in case I miss out on the grades slightly?
Yeah, that's perfect for me because I'm the admissions tutor. So I'll be seeing all the applications coming in, reading all your applications. So students can worry, and I'm not surprised. It's a stressful time. We do have our suggested entry grades, and you'll see they're a little bit higher for the MJOL, the fourth year programme, to reflect that demanding fourth year project. And then, we do consider a range depending on what subjects you've done, because everyone's done a different combination. Some people would have done geology before, others not. And then also, as well as A-levels, we would consider BTECs and extended projects. So, all this goes into the mix. We look at your statement. And then we do consider everything individually. So if you're in any doubt, then, just please apply and I'll look at your application and I can be in touch. So yeah, I just want to reassure everyone really that it's not a computer that sifts these and there's a hard cutoff. We do look at everything individually, and you are all individual human beings just like us, and we take everything into account.
Great, thank you, Tom. So one final question from our audience, and this one's for you, Alex, and it's, what do you want to do when you finish your degree?
So I'm planning on studying a bit further. I'd like to do a master's because I've enjoyed my time at university so much. I don't want to leave. And it's actually something that I had no idea that I would want to go into. I thought, so I quite like mining. Throughout my degree, I quite liked the, looking for minerals, different deposits can form these, wonderful big array of metals and minerals and everything like that. And mining does get a bad rep in the press and everything. But throughout my degree, I've learned that it's a fundamental part of our life. We wouldn't have mobile phones without mining, and we wouldn't have all these technologies and, looking for future renewable energies. You need to source where those solar panels are going to come from. So my tutor was actually someone who was in that mining sector. So I've had lots of conversations with him about what he does. I can't wait to look further and kind of progress in my career, first in my master's and then hopefully to go into that sector and really progress, and who knows where it'll take me.
Fantastic, Alex. Thank you very much. That was really insightful and nice to hear from somebody who's actually studying the course at the moment. I think that's all the questions. So all that's left is to thank everybody, thank our panel, Tom and Alex and Mark, for their really interesting talk and answering all of our questions. And thank everybody for attending. And then just, as I said, point you in the direction of the next talks. We've got more live talks happening, parent session and personal statements, and then Instagram live talks on accommodation, and then sports at 2 o'clock and the Unibuddy chat. So thank you again.